Well, that's a botch. Oh, no. 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 Fuck. My headphone cord got caught in my chair. Ow. Don't do that again. My finger hurts. Wait a second, guys. There we go. Much better. Son of a bitch, my finger stings. I bit way too hard on it. High grade rod. Sorry. Rare item. Okay. Rare item. Okay. High perks plus and high perks. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, I know. I can have the bait instead. Okay, bait. Oh, perfection. Perfection! I am a fucking genius. Hell yeah, let's do this! Perfect high grade rod. No, yeah, green. What is green doing here? Green doesn't matter. And yellow doesn't matter.
There we go. Yeah. Look at that. Level 48. So, probably not gonna do anything special tonight. Just gonna do some, okay, so encyclopedia, items, filter. Washer, butterfish, camber, sea snail, crab, lobster, balloonfish, seahorse, rapier fish. So, we're gonna go to the outskirts map. We're getting some stuff with the fishing rod. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, one fish, huh? Wait, Atelier Lydie has that? Let's go to Atelier Lydie. This says I like painting maps better. Oh shit, get the fuck away. Stupid fucking head. That's washer. Still have yet to see the old master. Come on. Fuck off. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Some dumb fuckwit who can't realize multitasking is a thing. Well, thank you very much, Patsu. I'm glad you and I can see through our differences. Yep. Thank you for the view. It's more like I don't stream at a coherent time for people to view it. This is what I do to relax. Man, I suck at fishing. Or at least any games that involve it. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. It's just fucking hell, man. Yeah, when you're juggling politics, this stuff, and in real life all at once, yeah. You kind of just have to get it in whenever you can. Okay. pay attention. Again, my multitasking is a massive issue. I've been doing this whole politics thing for 18 years. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, enjoy a conversation if you want. Or if you don't want to, that's cool too. Up to you. You'd be surprised on how chill I can be, honestly. And a lot of this stuff I, talk about and rage at. Fun stuff. I do what I do because I have fun with it. And you know what? It's cool if you're not a fan of that stuff. Perfectly fine. You'd be surprised. I'm a very reasonable person. There we go. Come on, give me what I need. Oh, for To be fair, though, I've had some pretty awesome opportunities with this. I've had some really cool, collaboration work. I've got to meet some awesome people. Yes, I agree. We are all Americans. My family is notorious for being part of the service. My uncle is a former Army tank repair mechanic. Another was top brass at the Air Force. We are all Americans, man. And honestly, we just all try to fix the problems we see on our own terms. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, so, we all have our own issues with society. We all see problems in it, and we all try to fix it in our own way. I personally believe that a lot of our problems are more fundamental than political. And so I try to tackle and address those fundamentals. So I don't think ill of you for disagreeing with me. I think it's a great thing that we can disagree with each other. It can, though, for one reason. And that reason is that criminals take plea deals. Criminals that take plea deals have to be taken with a grain of salt. It would not be consistent otherwise, because criminals can claim things and be considered deflection. As such, nothing is empirical. That being said, I do get why. It doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't really matter. It's like trying to throw evidence in a case with the court trial already proceeding. You can't just randomly throw evidence in at the last minute. All the documentation has been set. Even further, there's plenty of cases for mistrial. And the fact of the matter is we have violated the constitutional process. Emails and documents. About as valid as anything else. But there's also documents, Twitter posts, Twitter accounts, all sorts of things that can be used against the Democrats. So I don't understand your train of logic here. We're here. I mean, the whole point is Trump's. I mean, they're not dismissing impeachment. Hey, Skull's gone. They're not dismissing it. There is rumors based on the partiality of Mitch McConnell. Except that's exactly what's going on with the Senate proceedings. It is a trial. It's actually happening on this upcoming Tuesday. I guarantee you it's not going to be processed in time. It takes weeks, if not months, for the district attorney to process something. That being said, do you know what a mistrial is? Who the hell says Fox? I don't even get my sources on TV. I don't watch TV anymore. I get my sources from all sorts of different online sources. But I honestly learn the most from places like Yahoo Comments. Again, though, testimony is testimony from people who take plea deals. Pedophiles take plea deals all the time. Are you going to tell me that every single pedophile testimony is going to be legitimate? That's a good question. But there's a lot of things you can theorize, and that's the issue. Do you know what speculation is? Speculation is contempt-worthy. Not much game over, not much at all. Speculation doesn't hold well. It's honestly to be dismissed. And the fact of the matter is the process has been entirely skewed. There's all sorts of reasons, that's the issue. It's not that there isn't any, it's that there's nothing concrete. See, the thing is, everything has a counter-argument. And I find it far more suspect that none of this president's rights have been acknowledged. Sorry for those who didn't come here for the politics. Good buddy Patsu here. He and I kind of were discussing on the Trump administration. You know, for those who don't know me, I am a Trump supporter. Trying to get this one kind of fish is just really obnoxious. It's not that there isn't one singular reason. It's that there's many. And that's the issue. You can't force something concrete upon multiple possibilities. There's everything from mistrial to, you know, the basic American rights to due process. You're right, it doesn't look good in a normal context. That being said, we're not in a normal context. Now, are we? Even further, these emails are to prove of a crime that there wasn't even articles of impeachment for. Neither quid pro quo or bribery were drafted. Pretty much, yeah. It does. The fact of the matter is that this is one of the most fascinating psychological and social case studies of all time. I'm not saying he's a perfect person. I think he's got a lot of issues that I don't agree with. But he has obtained the job that I wanted him to do. No, not at all. Here's why. Because I don't support him for anything traditional. I don't support a president, and nor do I support any politician for every possible facet. Like I said before, my ways of addressing issues in society are addressing the more fundamental issues. Because in the end, it is inherently human to take the easy way out. It is inherently human to be tempted by sin. It is inherently human to take for example, a lot, arrogance, because honestly, I already knew people were scumbags, and I got sick and tired of them propagating an idea that these people are these perfect people, that these people are virtuous because they vote for a president based on a token stereotype. Don't you find it a little aggravating that people who are clearly not virtuous act as such? People needed somebody who is so vile, so disgusting, that it forces them to behave in the same narcissistic fashion, to where everybody behaves the same. You're not going to find, the cancer in your body unless you cut open with an incision. You're not going to find a disease and find things that are just problematic in our own basic behavior without cutting it open to reveal for all to see. All the riots. Yeah, basically. But see, that's the thing. That's why I support him to begin with. I don't support people on their virtues, because oftentimes they're non-existent for a lot of people. And my goal is not to show what's best for the country in a positive light. It's to debase, decry, and destroy the negative aspects of our society. It's kind of ironic, I know. Oh no, I totally do understand why people don't like him. I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to like him at all. I treasure the ability to agree to disagree. That's never been my goal. My goal is that I take out the issues with society. And here's the thing, a lot of people in the Trump support community are just people tired of the bullshit. I personally don't care for a lot of his policies, but I like the cause and effect that surrounds him and the people who oppose him. I like how every aspect of politics right now both highlights the negative and positive points about how some people can come together, some people can fall apart. I'm a very rational person. Not once have I really, See, the thing is, for me, I care more about the actual debate topics itself. And what will really make Trump's presidency interesting is that I'm kind of a constitutional theorist. I like looking at the Constitution from different angles and putting people in scenarios where differing ideas are contested. Because we as a people do not evolve unless we constantly question ourselves and hold ourselves accountable. In the end, I like and dislike everything about every single presidency ever. If you think that you have to like everything a president does to support them, you kind of miss the point. I didn't like a lot of things during Obama's administration, but I acknowledge the things he does right. He handled a very contentious situation of his time the best he could. He tried his best to reach bipartisan issues. But the problem is that everything surrounding these different presidential times are inherently poisoning the well. It's feeding a narrative instead of making the observation of the facts. So in the end, like who you like, dislike who you dislike. I perfectly understand, it's understandable. But you gotta bring a gun to a gunfight. See, that's the problem though. That's not correct. In the end, a politician cannot divide a people indivisible. And this is what I'm talking about the fundamental issue. Because the fundamental issue no, except that's not how it works. The reason why you're further and further apart is the ego. It is because people who are not politicians play the role of politician. It is because people think they know best when they don't, is the issue here. and a humble populace acting accordingly, we are indivisible. A politician cannot truly divide a heart that is indivisible. If people are truly dedicated to uniting against each other, it does not matter what a politician says. Except he is, because by sheer default, because he's president of the United States. My point being is simple. It's a fundamental issue. It's ego. It's the idea that you know best. It's the way people carry their political opinion without earning it. People who have a sensible opinion never make accusations. People who are true and blue to the goal. I'm not saying he doesn't. You're missing what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, we as a human race have these ego issues. And to displace blame onto a singular entity instead of holding yourself accountable screams to me arrogance. You can like a politician or dislike a politician. The issue is that you can't blame them for your own self-division. It is not Trump's fault that your own family decides to disagree with you. It is not Trump's fault that your family is divided. It is not Trump's fault that your ego gets in the way of your sense of family. If you are a true family, if you have the sentiments of family, nobody's word can ever change that. That is the problem that I wish to address. Because in the end, we gotta hold ourselves accountable for when we mess up. And it is the unwillingness to hold ourselves accountable that is the issue. His Twitter account says a lot of things, but I find it funny that people pick and choose and cherry pick what stuff to quote and what stuff not to quote. You know, it doesn't matter if Trump's tweets are not racist, because, you know, the whole squad thing, none of it was racist and no racist implication, but, you know, people are going to disregard that. So you can't cherry pick. You either say yes all the time or no all the time. Well, that's a good thing then. That means you have some sensibility. That means you're not divided. If you're divided, it means you cannot agree to disagree. The concept of division is skewed in your view, because there's a difference between division and disagreement. Division is something that is oftentimes unable to be taken back, or is something people have to work to fix. Disagreement and division are two separate concepts. In the end, families are divided, people are divided by their choice. People can't make your choices for you. And that's the fact of the matter. Heck, I don't take anything he says seriously. Oftentimes, his Twitter account really honestly means nothing to me. It's how people react to it that I really get involved. It is entirely upon your choice. If you want to be truly united, nothing anyone says is ever going to change that. It is upon your decisions and your initiatives as an adult. If you can discuss politics reasonably and rationally, awesome. I'm glad to hear it, because that means you're fulfilling the will of the Founding Fathers. And the Founding Fathers would be proud regardless of your disagreements. And I think that's all anybody really wants out of these discussions anyways, is the ability to honor our Founding Fathers. Sorry, I have a bit of a dry mouth. Let's see, what was I going for? Okay, so I got so wrapped up that I forgot to figure out what I was trying to discuss. Oh, right. Must be, not that. Encyclopedia. See what happens when you try to multitask and it doesn't really work out well for you? So, let's see. So far it seems like all I got left are the super rare ones. So in the end, the first step to healing the divide in our country, it's not Democrat, Republican, populist, it's yourselves. It's distortion. To me, it doesn't matter whether you're Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, or local. If you constantly publish falsehoods, I will treat you with less integrity than the National Enquirer. Exactly. My point exactly. And I gave you the answer as to how to fix it. And the answer is humility. Because sometimes you have to willingly play the role of being wrong. You know, when I mess up, I hold myself accountable for it. One of the other days, I misunderstood someone was trying to tell me. We were debating about something and we disagreed and it got ugly. But then I looked back at it, realized I misinterpreted what they were trying to say and accomplish, and I held myself accountable for it and apologized to them. And then when you came to a discussion, oh, so this is what you meant? Hey, we can get behind it. In the end, we needed to root out the issues of our society. And the first step is sending it all out in the open. Ego is the root of all evil. And that's why I wanted to put that out for all to see. And in the end, keep in mind, every community has people who are just trying to get past the nonsense in life. And sometimes we all just express things differently. And sometimes expression can work against us. It takes humility, it takes the willingness to be kind to another. If our hearts are truly one, if we are a nation under God indivisible, then in all honesty, we would never be able to be divided. That's what I seek at the end of the horizon. Because we cannot love until we find our own hate. Until we figure out where every person's hate comes from, and how we on our own selves can fix our own selves, do we find true love. Love for another. I have had wonderful opportunities to meet with wonderful people, despite disagreements, despite, how we may view another. The people I've worked with and I have made inseparable, priceless bonds, regardless of whether I'm a Trump supporter or they're not. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is you cannot escape it. You cannot escape these things, these negative emotions. No, I do not, actually. That makes sense. I did like a lot of the messages he, stood for. I actually did. I think he was a good man. I think he was also better at expressing himself than a lot of people are these days, in all honesty. But see, here's the thing. It exists on all sides. Just like hate exists on all sides, love exists on all sides too. Nobody is purely one or the other. And the biggest problem is with these accusations is a black and white sense of morality. There's a lot of gray, where people who are on the side of hate have stemmed from the side of love. Hell, I've been constantly dealing with those emotions after the issues with my own father's passing. And it isn't really until the last couple of years have I really been able to keep that in perspective. Because for a long time I chose hate towards the people who caused his death, rather than love for the things he gave to me. I I sincerely give you my condolences. And if you want somebody to talk to you about that, just let me know. We, in general, cannot maintain our nation if we, and our society, if we, take everything upon ourselves. We need to reach out. Yeah, and there's a varying amount of reasons for it. But see, for every great man, there's millions and millions of people who are not. People who are petty, people who are jealous, people who say and do horrible things. But I think MLK would be able to still heal those emotions, because he would know where they come from. Here's the thing, while I understand your concerns, I don't think at this point it's a bad thing. We all end up in times where... How to explain this? We all end up in times where we have to get those emotions out. My concern is that we do so in a healthy manner. See, that's the thing. But let's look at all the wonderful things we've been given and realize that war holds two purposes. Advancement of scientific technology. Actually, three, technically. An expression of our own pain and hurt. And, in the end, it gives us perspective. It allows us to reach out to those who have closed their ears and have opened their mouths. That is the practical purpose of which war serves. For those who have chosen to close their ears, close their minds, and continue talking, that is the purpose of which war serves. It's a bitter truth, it's a bitter reality, and I hate saying that. See, here's the thing. I'm a guy who's never owned a gun in his life, but I am a pro-gun supporter. I'm a guy who supports people's rights. I support people's rights to hold whatever weapons they want to, or guns they want to hold. Huh. And see, that's the thing. I don't just think of myself. Just because I never owned a gun. Even just because I don't own a gun doesn't mean others shouldn't have that right. Good call. See, there's a middle ground in it all. And that's the thing, a politician like me of 18 years understands that there's good and bad with everything. I've loved this craft, I've loved a lot of things for almost 2 decades. Politics, academics, anime, games, writing. Exactly. I was raised around people who had exceptional academic talent, with incredible self-discipline, around people with incredible amounts of empathy. So we all have our trials, tribulations. We all have our moments where we fail and fall down. So the first step to avoiding the blame game is just to hold ourselves accountable. It's okay for all these things to exist. It is. It's okay. It's okay to be who you are. I don't care if you're a bigot or not. You have the right to hold those views so long as you're not using them to commit a crime. See, what people don't understand about no freedom from consequences is that the law is the arbitrator here. Whether we face consequences or not is not supposed to be determined by employers or social media. It's the law. The reason why is because, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. You have to, and keep in mind, it also applies to able-bodied men and women. So those who are, you know, with mental incapabilities and mental faculty issues, absolutely not. You should not hold a gun if you're going through those things. And that's the fact of the matter. If you are mentally ill, you do not have a right to a gun. Because the Constitution says every able-bodied, which means nobody with disabilities. It sucks, but it makes sense. In the end, the reason why I support Trump is because it's a power play. It is the most influential way of influencing human behavior. Oh, it upsets me too. See, here's the thing. You and I both didn't expect each other to hold fair and reasonable opinions, but hey, welcome. Like, stranger things have happened, man. Stranger things have happened. Well, education is a static thing, Alexa. You have to be able to take it for yourself. You have to take it for yourself. That's the next. So I got one trophy here. Yeah, that I can't. I am not a parent, but I cannot imagine what it must be like for a parent to be afraid of that stuff. I mean, I can do my best to empathize, but I wouldn't exactly know what it's like. But I can at least try to feel for you and where that's coming from. I would not want to be in a parent's position right now. That's the fact, is that I could not imagine what you guys are going through. Because, you know, it's to prevent, you know, accidents and things like that to happen. Plus, it helps you with hand-eye coordination, so that when you're using a gun, you're using it precisely and professionally. So when you have that, you know what to do in the right situations, you know how the situations function. There are always good and bad ways of handling things. So, that's my thought process on it. That is pretty subjective around the board, my good friend. That's pretty subjective around the board. Yeah, you and I both. We're in agreement there. That's an interesting viewpoint. Don't quite follow your logic there, but yes, absolutely. No child should have access to that. You should have some form of you should have some form of concealing safe to where people can't get to it. Absolutely.